like to now request my senior colleague, Mr. Indradeep Singh, Chairman of ICC Northern Region Council, to share his welcome address. Mr. Singh.
Thank you very much, Devmalia.
Excellency, Namaste, this is Devmalia Banerjee from Indian Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, he is Dr. Virender Pal. Mr. Singh.
Yes, so we are just starting. Thank you very much, Devmalia. Dr. Virender Paul, High Commissioner of India to Nairobi, Mr. Surendra, our senior diplomat in Nigeria, Mr. Sanjeev Goyal, who will be joining, I guess, very shortly from our embassy in Kampala. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you all here today. The year 2022 is shaping up to be one of hope and optimism. Despite the obstacles faced due to the pandemic since 2020, the current environment of strengthened global sentiment, a comeback in domestic demand, ample liquidity, and favorable oil prices offers India a stable foundation on which to lead the economic recovery in 2022. One industry that is likely to play a significant role in this recovery is India's power sector. India's electricity market is one of the most varied in the world. Power is an important part of infrastructure for any country's economic development and well-being. For India's economy to continue to thrive, adequate infrastructure must be present and growing. In this regard, electrification is increasing in the country thanks to government initiatives such as the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, and the Integrated Power Development Scheme. India needs to grow its trade with the rest of the globe, particularly with the African continent, where competition is also lower and demand for Indian manufacturers and investors is stronger. In recent years, Africa's commercial climate has improved, and about 600 Indian firms have already made investments in Africa, with the top 11 accounting for nearly 53% of total Indian investment on the continent. Indian firms have made significant investments in natural gas projects in Mozambique and are exploring the possibilities of making additional investments in Tanzania. Another area that has seen funding from Indian businessmen is the power sector. Indian Chamber of Commerce, through its electrical and power equipment fair and e-conference, will help throw light on the different aspects of how Indian exporters and producers can take advantage of exporting opportunities in Africa. The manufacturers will be able to learn about exporting prospects to countries in the Africa region by attending the ICC Electrical and Power Equipment Fair and connect with the appropriate audience. This will help make Indian business relationships stronger and expand the network of possible clients and help Indian firms to increase commercial prospects, trade, and knowledge. With this 3-day virtual fair, we target to reach a suitable audience so as to allow suppliers to take advantage of the huge trade opportunities in Africa. With that, I'd like to welcome you all once again to this program, and over to you, Devmalia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. Thank you for the warm welcome, which you had just spelled out. May I now request my colleague, Mr. Dheeraj Puri, who is the co-chairman for Northern Region Council, Indian Chamber of Commerce, to share the theme address with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank His Excellency Dr. Virender Paul, His Excellency Mr. VSDL Surendra, and Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Goyal for joining us. Thank you. In India, the electricity sector is undergoing a significant shift that has transformed the industry's perspective. The demand for energy in India is still being fueled by the country's continued economic expansion. The Indian government's goal of power for all has hastened the regional capacity building. Both the demand and supply sides, fuel, logistics, and finance are growing increasingly dynamic at the same time. In October 2020, the government announced the formation of an interministerial committee under the Niti Aayog to lead energy modeling research and analysis. This will help the India Energy Modeling Forum, IEMF, which was created jointly by Niti Aayog and the US Agency for International Development, as well as a steering committee, US Aid. The government has appropriately stressed that the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan in the post-COVID age, India has an excellent opportunity to distribute its domestic electrical and power equipment to the rest of the world. Policy, investment, technology, acceptance, and most importantly, generating demand are the primary growth factors for electrolytes business. India is also committed to assisting Africa in its energy transition by deploying sustainable energy technologies quickly. The International Solar Alliance speaks the interest of African countries. A closer cooperation can help Africa become greener, whether in the areas of power, water, or agriculture. Indeed, in the days ahead, the full potential of our green technologies and practices should be vigorously explored. The Indian government issued a letter of credit for USD 56.824 million in July 2019 for a 15 MW photovoltaic power plant and electrical network solar project at Shillingate. The Indian Chamber of Commerce has been active in hosting virtual trade fairs on electrical and power equipments and establishing business contacts among many stakeholders, thanks to its extensive network. This exhibition will provide new opportunities for stakeholders and will allow suppliers and manufacturers to compare and contrast diverse perspectives on the sector. With these few words, I look forward to fruitful deliberations and interactions in this virtual summit and fair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Puri. It was well summed up in terms of our outreach, in terms of the activity space that we are into. In fact, for the matter of knowledge and records, this particular fair, which is being starting from tomorrow, it is funded largely by Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. And we have around 40 Indian exhibitors who will be exhibiting their power and electrical equipment products. And we have around 170 buyers from various countries of Africa, which includes Nigeria, which includes Kenya, which includes Uganda, which includes Ghana, Mauritius, as well as other smaller countries too. So in this next 3 days, our exporters will be discussing the business potential opportunities with the importers from Africa, and they will see if the Indian products can be well marketed there. We have already seen that Indian products has got a great acceptability in the African continent. So this kind of actions with the support of Ministry of Commerce is well received by the Indian industry. And I'm sure we will add this kind of effort, would add to the export volume to Africa. So may I now request, Mr. Surendra, Acting High Commission of India from Abuja, Nigeria, to share his thoughts with us. I think, Mr. Goel has not joined, but we have to move forward. So, Mr. Surendra, you had been extremely gracious. ICC has traveled to Nigeria 5 times, and we have always been getting support from you, Mr. Abhay Thakur, as well as your team in Lagos. And I think, today the India-Nigeria relationship, whatever height it has come, you have contributed a lot. We all are indebted, the Indian industry is indebted to you for your active support. I still remember before the COVID set in, we had a full day meeting in Abuja with the Indian power companies, with the Nigerian government. So various efforts like this will continue to take place under your leadership. So please share your thoughts with the participating delegates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tirumali Banerjee, for those very kind remarks. It's always a pleasure to reach out to ICC Kolkata and to help Indian industry abroad, especially in Nigeria. Mr. Inderjeet Singh, Chairman, Northern Regional Council, Indian Chamber of Commerce.
No, I am in a virtual meeting. There are
Co-chair, Northern Regional Council, Indian Chamber of Commerce. respected High Commissioner, His Excellency Dr. Virender Paul, High Commissioner of India to Kenya. Very warm welcome to you all to the curtain raiser for the second edition of the ICC Power and Electrical Equipment Fair from 16th February onwards, that is from today onwards. Well, cooperation in the power sector is not something new with Nigeria. India is a very important partner, and Transmission Corporation of Nigeria, TCN, is no stranger to India's prowess and competence in supplying world-class transmission equipment. And we have been engaging with TCN also vigorously in the past, and our companies have
Sorry
been
to bother you, Mr. Surendra. If your camera, can be little placed up, Yes.
Oh.
Now it's fine. So sorry to bother you.
No, that's okay. The essence of what I was saying is that there is great potential between India and Nigeria in the power equipment sector. Coming to the opportunity in Nigeria, well, if you just take a comparison, India has an installed capacity of 400 gigawatts, in the third largest producer of electricity in the world. Whereas in Nigeria, being a large country of 200 million people, it has only 16 gigawatts of installed capacity, and transmission is quite low at only 4 gigawatts, which is extremely insufficient for a nation which is on the move. Lot of economic development happening, lot of urbanization happening, young population, technically gifted population. So it's an ambitious country, and they are extremely hungry for power and power-related equipment to help them reach their full potential. So this is the right time for the Indian industry to partner with Nigeria. We see that Indian equipment are world-class, respected broadly across the globe. And last year, the exports were to the tune of 8.5 billion. So we have brand, we have acceptance, we have popularity with Nigeria, and both countries coming out of the pandemic, this is the time for both of us to again re-engage vigorously in this sector. And Nigeria is, of course, one of the top export destinations for India. The products with most potential we see are switch gear and control gear, transformers and parts, industrial electronics, cables, transmission line towers, conductors, rotating machines, motors, AC generators, generating sets, and parts thereof. Nigeria is also seeking a lot of investment in its transmission sector, and the specific opportunities are there in transmission network expansion, there in replacement of old and broken down lines, local manufacture of components, and implementation of a super grid. This is actually a very bold venture, $5 billion venture, but they are trying to get this on ground. And there are also line of credit being offered by EBIT, the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development. So around $88 million is being offered by ECOWAS Bank of Investment and Development for various rural electrification projects. And Indian companies we have seen in the past have been quite successful in supplying and in assisting Benin's electrification sector. So I request our exhibitors to look at this opportunity also. And also some precautions I would like to share with my exhibitors here. That TCN is a major procurement agency, and they have a bidding process. And it is important that serious parties have representatives here on ground, because in Nigeria we see that engagement is the key to success. Sustained engagement, patience over a period of time will bring results. So boots on the ground is an important aspect. And one word also about when you're making contracts with TCN also. We have seen some cases in the successful Indian companies which have supplied equipment to Nigeria. When there are two parts of the contract. One is supply of equipment, the other is implementation locally. And for implementation locally, they have a local partner, but sometimes he doesn't do his part, and then our company doesn't get paid. It ends up into sometimes a dispute for all avoid. So I think framing of the contract and keeping your partner also accountable for fulfilling his obligations is an important aspect. The High Commission has a panel of legal consultants on its website, and you may all like to refer to them while engaging in contracts with. So the High Commission is here to help you, as they have said, constantly reaching out to Nigerian side and open up opportunities for an Indian industry. Please do let us know if there's anything else. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Surendra. You aptly put forward various important parameters, especially the trade dispute part, which you had just mentioned, because every day, as a public body, as an organization, we keep on getting emails from unknown, unspecified sources that there is this kind of a fraud here. And it's all not related to Nigeria, but across the world. Something has happened in Romania, something has happened in Nigeria, something has happened. And we also feel helpless on a lot of occasions, although Ministry of Commerce has got a trade dispute cell. But I think, locally in that, following the law of the land, if you have local lawyers who can handle this kind of issues, I think, that's a very, very commendable step, especially when the trade volumes have rapidly gone up in the last 10 years between India and Nigeria. And Nigeria is, I think, the largest trading partner for India in West Africa. So we will definitely, circulate this information to all the people, all the exhibitors who are dealing with us for the last 5 years and traveling with us to Nigeria, that for their existing businesses, if they have any issue, they should refer to the legal counsel, and ICC and High Commission can always, endorse and support. That we can always do in an informal way, whatever possible. Thank you so much. And may I now request, Dr. Virender Paul, High Commissioner of India to Kenya, and he's also our permanent representative to UNEP and UN Habitat Ambassador of India to Somalia. So, Dr. Paul, it's a pleasure for us to have you with us as a chief guest for today's curtain raiser. So, we look forward to hearing from you. Just to, before you start, I would like to mention a few words. ICC had traveled to Kenya in the past when Ambassador Suchitra Durai was, the High Commissioner there. And we took 51 companies. We have a MOU with East Africa Chamber of Commerce, which was signed with the active support of our mission there in Nairobi. This year, I mean 2022-23, we have already submitted proposals to Commerce Ministry to explore opportunities for taking one more delegation to Nairobi. We look forward to working closely with your office under your leadership and guidance. Thank you so much. So may I now request Your Excellency if you could share your thoughts, Chief Guest's address with all the participating delegates. Please encourage us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. First of all, I would like to thank the Indian Chamber of Commerce for asking me to join this important event focusing on electrical and power equipment with particular focus on how India engages African business and industry in this field. And thank you for updating me on your visit to Kenya when Ambassador Durai was here. I was not too aware of that. I knew that ICC has had some good contacts with Kenya, including the signing of an MOU while you were here. But good to hear from you directly. And in the times to come, I think, I'll be in touch with the Ministry of Commerce as well on your next visit to Kenya and how we can do things together in concrete terms. But, congratulations to ICC for holding this curtain raiser on this important theme. And it goes without saying that it's indeed a very, very important, a very major area of interest when it comes to economic engagement between India and Kenya. And our previous distinguished speaker, Mr. Singh, and also Mr. Dheeraj Puri had given us a very good background on the importance of this sector in the Indian economy and what we are doing, what we seek to achieve back in India, and how it opens new avenues for cooperation between Indian business and industry in this sector, and also in Kenya, their counterparts in Kenya. Before I come to certain specifics on the sector of electrical and power equipment, I would like to look at the larger picture of the two economies, the Indian economy and the Kenyan economy, and how the two economies are complementary to each other, including in this specific sector. Now, when I say the larger picture, I would like to very briefly talk about the economies of India and Kenya. Now, when it comes to Kenya, in the short time that's available to us, what I would like to encourage our Kenyan partners, who seek to develop closer collaboration with their Indian counterparts in this sector. I would encourage them to, very carefully look at certain provisions in the latest budget, the Union Budget 2022. And, it's a very forward-looking document. It's not a national budgetary document focusing on just 1 year. It's quite a visionary document, very forward-looking, and in the difficult COVID times, it talks about the post-COVID recovery, the national economy in India. What we want to achieve, and it goes without saying that as we develop, as we mature in terms of Indian economy in various sectors, it certainly opens up new ways for our foreign collaboration, particularly in sector where India seeks to make large-scale investments, and infrastructure clearly is one of those sectors. If you look at the budget, the figures, I mean, it's very easy to make out the ambitions, the objectives that we have back in India. And in the immediate context, the budget also talks about how we are going to recover from this COVID crisis. And when we talk about infrastructure sector, power and electrical equipment happens to be one of the critical components that go into the infrastructure. Coming to Kenya's economy, very briefly, I would like to say that in the COVID-19 context, and as the country is steadily emerging from this crisis, the Kenyan economy has demonstrated considerable resilience to these post-COVID shocks, with overall output in recent months increasingly rising above the pre-pandemic levels. And according to the official Kenyan statistics, the real GDP grew by 9.9% in the third quarter of 2021 compared to a contraction of 2.1% in the corresponding period last year. The World Bank has also projected a 4.9% per year average during the period 2022-23, which is quite encouraging, and it signals that Kenya is one of the fastest growing economies in the sub-Saharan Africa. The statistics also show the rise in the country's total trade in goods, increasing by 23% from US dollars 21.4 billion in 2020 to 26.3 billion 2021. In the bilateral context, in the context of India and Kenya economic cooperation, trade and economic cooperation, I would like to very briefly, advise the business partners, both in India and Kenya, that there is a very steady history of close relation between India and Kenya and the Indian Chamber of Commerce. The companies who visited Kenya, 2-3 years ago, they would agree with me that the potential for further strengthening our trading and investment engagement, the potential is huge. Now, we seek to diversify our economic engagement, and the focus areas as we speak are agriculture and agribusiness, ICT, automobiles, construction, power and energy, and manufacturing in several subsectors. The investments, cumulative investments, Indian investments in Kenya today stand at 3.53 billion, which, as compared to other countries in sub-Saharan Africa, I think this is quite impressive. There are about 60 major Indian companies who have their operations from Nairobi being a good hub, financial and transportation. And we in the High Commission, we are extremely supportive of promoting greater B2B linkages. And on the G2G side, I would like to believe that we have a minister level joint trading committee. And also on B2B level, we also have linkages between KNCCI and FICCI. The other apex chamber, CII, also has been interested in promoting their linkages with Kenyan organizations, for instance, Kenyan Association of Manufacturers and Kenyan Invest. ICC, in fact, again, is a major input when we talk about B2B linkages. Now, coming to power and electrical sector, people who are following India-Africa economic relations, you know that the government of India had announced and a line of credit worth about $62 million for power transmission lines in Kenya. The line of credit is under implementation. We are by and large satisfied, but the pace of implementation could perhaps be faster and better. Electrical equipment is a sector which is among the top 10 import commodities from India to Kenya. And our figures suggest that the import value of this item from India to Kenya in 2021 increased by 39%, which is quite a figure, to $82 million from 59 million in 2020. So even during the COVID period, when there was adverse influences on bilateral trade, this sector picked up from its already satisfactory level to even better level. This subsector is also important in the context of government of Kenya's target of universal energy access by 2022, which is this year. So it is our expectation and hope that Kenya is going to open up even further to foreign investments, foreign participation in this sector this year and in the times to come. And through Indian Electrical and Electronics Manufacturers Association, IEEMA, there has been active engagement of players from India. And in this larger space in Kenya, what I would like to say is that the Indian presence is quite impressive. And as we always say, it could even be better. Likewise, in power equipment, similar to electrical equipment, this also happens to be among the top 10 import commodities from India to Kenya. And our trade statistics show that power equipment imports into Kenya from India increased 33%, just like electrical equipment. This has risen to $217 million from 164 million in 2020. Again, this is a period which saw the COVID crisis, and we have done well in both these sectors as regards India's engagement with Kenya in these sectors. I would also like to highlight that there are some major companies already active in Kenya, And these are Shama Power, Kalpataru Power Transmission Limited, KEC International Limited. They are already involved in these sectors, and there is potential for more companies to enter the Kenyan market in this particular sectors. On the public sector companies side, we have NTPC and Power Grid, who also have shown considerable interest in establishing their business in Kenya. So this is a broad outline that I sought to present before you. Basically, my attempt is to encourage our Kenyan partners to look at India with more optimism, especially in the coming times, as India has large-scale plans for expansion of this sector, and that certainly opens up new ways and means for Indian partners to work even closely with India. And there is a big positive, when it comes to new Kenyan businesses and industry who seek to have closer relations with Indian industry, and that is the existing level of comfort and familiarity between the businesses on the two sides. The large Indian diaspora, which is economically extremely prosperous, very business oriented, that is an added asset that we would like to utilize. And before I conclude, I would like to once again thank the Indian Chamber of Commerce for asking me to join and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And I really look forward to ICC's next visit to Kenya. A warm welcome awaits you in the city of Nairobi. And I look forward to closely working with you in the times to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was very nice of you to take out time today and come and address the Indian exhibitors. We are confident that there will be a significant trade discussion that will take place between the Indian exporters and the African, counterparts in the next 3 days, which is starting from tomorrow, and it's a 24-hour cycle. So it will be a 72-hour cycle in which this online virtual B2B expo is going to take place. And we definitely look forward to, visiting Kenya next year. We have already submitted our proposal to Ministry of Commerce. So if approved, which in all likeness should get approved, we will certainly seek your assistance, guidance, and we will come down to Kenya. Mr. Puri was also planning to come to Kenya. He already has some businesses there, my colleague. And we look forward to working closely with you, as well as with you, Mr. Surendra, and all the countries of Africa, so that we can genuinely contribute to the Indian export figure to Africa. Our focus is that, and for the last 5 years, including the COVID times, we had traveled there with delegation. And I think, this kind of efforts are our contribution to the overall economy. I would also, formally now like to thank Mr. Singh, Mr. Puri, Mr. Surendra, and you, and Your Excellency. I would also like to thank Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Commerce. Ministry of Commerce has financially supported the expo. Without their support, this wouldn't have been possible for us to do this program. I would like to formally thank Ministry of Commerce and obviously MEA for their support. With this note, I formally propose a hearty vote of thanks to all the stakeholders. Thank you so much. So, thank you. Thank you.